Welcome to ETN Community Spotlight, where we shine the light on a local nonprofit organization. I'm Derrick Silas. Join me as we talk to today's special guest. From my understanding, the Booker T. Washington Community Center started off as a school in the 1800s, and of course the school was named after one of the greatest neuroeducational leaders, Booker T. Washington, who was also organizer of the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. Clifford, tell me about the history of the transition from school to community center here, and how did this all begin in Enid? What's the mission and purpose of the community center today? Well,
the mission today is to supervise activities for the youth and adults. We provide purposes to provide educational, nutritional, and recreational activities and community meeting spots for community social groups. The transition quite naturally happened before we were thought of, so I can go back as far as early 1900s where the school was located in the Government Springs Park. It was all black high school at the Government Springs Park that faces Owen K. Garrett. And there's pictures of that school at the museum, and I believe we have one at the center. Later in the late 20s to early 30s, I believe they built the Booker T. High School as it is the center today, doing segregation. That's where the black kids went to school there at Booker T, and I believe it started from the 7th grade through high school, and then they built the Carver Center to house the grade school age.
I went to Carver School as a young girl, and after finishing the 6th grade, we come over to Booker T 7th grade, all the way up until they integrated the school.
Schools integrated, to my knowledge, between 60 and 62. And that's where the kids, they shut down Booker T and Carver, and the black kids were integrated to the other Enid public schools. And Booker T had closed since then and opened back up in the mid-70s as a recreational center, which was the building was owned by EYI, Enid Youth Incorporated. Leaders from the Southern Heights community went to EYI and asked to develop that building into a recreational center for youth. And that's how this Booker T began. So they gave it to the community and it's been running ever since. And that was in 1982.
I remember when this gym that we're in now was just in chaos, and me and Mr. Allen came in and demoed it and painted it, and then we got this rubber floor and got it put in. And I did that when I was in high school. So like I said, I've been here around Booker T working and been a part of the community and a part of what the kids do for quite a long time.
Now, I know you play a very active role in the community center.
Yes.
What is your role?
Well, my title is executive director. I never look at myself as the executive director, but because I'm a youth from this community, it's just hard to believe that that's my title. But I'm responsible for day-to-day operation of the community center, to make sure everything's intact. I also help develop the programming that goes on there. We have after-school programs, summer programs, and then we have other, we had mentoring programs, but some of those programs kind of vary based on folks' attendance there at the center. But it's just day-to-day operations of the center.
Okay. Now, I understand that you were also participated in the program when you were younger, and you left for Chicago.
I did.
Came back in 1973, and before you retired, you were in healthcare, and you were juggling this with the after-school program as well.
Yes.
Now, what made you come back to the Enid community, and what drives you to get involved with the community center today?
Wow, very good question. I came back home from college. That would have been between 82, 83, and I made Enid my home again. I was living in Edmond, Oklahoma. I was at the University of Central Oklahoma, which was Central State at that time. Things didn't work out for me, so I came back home, and I just started coaching youth basketball, and I went up to the center and asked Doris Allen, the director before me. She's passed on since then, God bless her. So could I coach basketball up there? And she said yes. Well, at that time, she had a latchkey program. It was an after-school program, but it was called latchkey. They just showed up there and they just had somewhere to go. There was no programs developed. It was just latchkey. Well, little did I know that one basketball team turned into 2, then 3, then 4. So I proposed to Mrs. Allen and the board of directors to start an after-school program and include the recreational part in that. And that's what we've been doing today.
Okay. Now, speaking of the after-school program, give me a brief description of how that works.
Well, it runs 175 school days. It runs the same length as the school. And the kids can, we accept kids all over, but we target the low to moderate income families, kids who are home by themselves or parents who can't afford other programs in the city. That's who we target, but we invite everybody, anybody who wants to attend the center for that purpose. It is a safe place. And what we do is we offer educational activities such as they get to do their homework. We offer curriculums, and we offer recreational basketball programs. And then there's a nutritious program that is funded by the Oklahoma Food Bank at Oklahoma City, to where we feed the kids a hearty meal at school.
Okay. Now, speaking of what other events does the center participate in?
Well, we have our biggest 2 programs is the after-school program, which I just talked about, and then it's the summer program. Summertime is hard to keep the youth focused, so we run a program for 8 weeks from June 1st to July 22nd, 5 days a week, 8 to 5, and we have 100 kids every summer. I have to stop at 100 because it's just so hard, but there is a waiting list just in case folks don't come. And it is one of the best programs we've ever ran at Booker T. Of course, when I was a kid, it was all day. And this is how I got back involved with the city. I remembered what I had when I was a youth, but we had it all day, but they get it part-time. So the kids swim daily. We take them to the bowling alley every other Friday. They get a trip to the movie theater. They take field trips all over the city. And we just keep them busy for 4 hours out of the day.
Okay. Now, if someone else wants to get involved with what you guys are doing, how can they do that?
Well, we're developing a new website, but we are a United Way agency. And they have a center for a nonprofit center, so we can be contacted through there. We can also be contacted. We're in the phone book. We're always in the newspaper. We're always handing out handouts about what's going on in the program. It's posted in the newspaper. But mainly they would call the center between 8 and 5 or my cell phone number and get information. But it's really easy. We're located 800 South 5th, right next door to the Carver Educational Center. So and we accept donations, in-kind donations all the time, because our funding, 70% of our funding comes from the United Way. We did get funding from the city, which we will not be this fall because of city cuts, and we certainly understand that. But we're still living. We're fundraisers. I hired a new fundraiser guy on our board, and he's working real hard. So we're looking to do a lot of things.
Okay. What do you feel like the impact the center is having on the Enid community?
I feel like it's been major. It impacted me, and look what I'm doing today.
Right.
And when you see that, when you have that story, that's all you really need to know about the purpose of that center. But I've came back home, and we broadened what we offered back then. We broadened it much wider to where when I was a kid, the youth wouldn't come across the railroad tracks to attend Booker T. Today, we're one of the most diverse programs in this city, low budgeted city, so it's affordable. We make it affordable to everybody, and we do not turn anybody around. The impact is the kids are not at home doing harm to themselves or others or getting in trouble. They're in a safe place while parents work and provide for them. So I believe it makes a good impact on our community.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming today.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.